A voice of the voiceless, for the trees have no tongues. Listen closely for messages and accept them as they come. Dive into this podcast and listen with your soul. Every episode is an adventure with discoveries you may not yet know. This is the Gaia Gazette on the Empty the Bench podcast network.
What is up? Hello. Welcome back to the Gaia Gazette on the Empty the Bench podcast network. This is episode 1, technically, since the first episode was episode 0. Today I kind of just wanted to talk about the bigger picture. I'll start with this. I'm happy to have you here, and if you're listening to this, then this is a really good lesson for you to spread to kind of everyone, because it's something that needs to be talked about, that it's not talked about enough. But the bigger picture, the root of the issues, the why. So you've probably seen, if you go into schools or on the news or anything like that, we have a lot of prevention exercise, or what to do for prevention in crisis exercises. So school shootings, we practice where we lock the doors and students run into the bathroom, or we have a protocol depending on the school, what to do when there's an earthquake or a tsunami, or what we're going to do to handle this, to save as many lives and get through it together. But what we're not looking at is the bigger picture. That is just the tip of the iceberg. And that's the biggest issue here, is that we're looking at these things and saying, okay, what are we going to do when? Instead of taking a step back and saying, hold on, wait, why is this stuff happening? Well, that's what this episode is going to talk about. And it's just a theory, but to me, I've convinced myself that it's a pretty logical explanation. So we look at everything, I look at everything in this world as energy, right? So there's two major forms: positive energy and negative energy. So this, you can kind of feel it every day, like going through life, like, oh, you're having a good day, you're full of that positive, happy energy, you go work out, you're eating clean, you're doing good, your body's feeling good, so you're feeling good, or your friends coming into town, or you're seeing a family member, you're full of this positive energy. It makes you want to just speak kindness, speak like happiness, and just go through life. But there's also negative energy, and depression, anxiety, you just lost someone, grief, you and your best friend got in a petty fight over a boy, drama. It's all negative energy. So there's those two different major forms, positive and negative. And I mean, even if you look at it in forms of like science, you have different kinds of electrical energy, or when you use kinetic and potential, there's positive and there's negative. So what we need to realize is that we're all energetic beings. And if you break our cells all the way down to this atomic level, we're literally just molecules that are just vibrating at a certain rate in energy, which is why things affect us so intensely. And the root now, to get down to it, is how we feed those energies and what it's doing, not just to us as a society, but to Gaia, what the Gaia Gazette is all about, the voice for the voiceless. So it's sad, right? But if you watch any documentary, you can see that And honestly, you don't even need to watch documentary. Walk outside, or if you live in Florida, you've driven down the Sun Coast, I'm sure 1,000 times in your life, and you drive down it, and the land that used to be there is no longer there. The water that used to be there has been filled in and built on top of it. Humans have this like sad reality of thinking that we think that it's all about us, and that this earth was created just for us to live on and cultivate and make our own and build buildings on. And that's not the case. And the issue with that is it's creating problems. So let me rewind, because before I get too ahead of myself, and talk back about that energy. So the energy, the way you're treating people, the way that you're taking care of yourself, the energy you're putting out, it's when it's positive, you're creating a ripple effect of change. You're giving a compliment to a stranger, and that stranger now carries that on to somebody else, and you're creating this positive energetic thing that can play back into the earth. And there's literally studies on flowers and plants, and if people sitting there talking negative to them, and then another group of plants that people are saying positive things to, grow bigger, while these ones can literally die with every other form of nutrient, because energy is so powerful. It's like the biggest magic that we can't see. And I wrote a book called Two Fires, and that'll be out hopefully in like a month or so. Working on the final illustrations, but procrastination and ADHD, so I'm all over the place. um, with this book, Two Fires, it's about the fire of positive energy and the fire of negative energy. And I like to think that Gaia kind of speaks through me when I write things, because when I wrote this, it just came out of me. It flowed through me when my situation happened, and the guy had called me one day and told me my address and that he was coming to get me. My typical anxiety would have skyrocketed, and I would have been full of fear and hate. But I realized this guy is so full of negative fear energy that he feels the need to call some young girl he does not know, to tell her her address and that he's coming to get her because she showed a movie. It doesn't even make sense. The only thing that makes sense with it is that, and he couldn't even let me get a word in, by the way. He had to hang up the phone. And it's because his body is fueled with fear and hate, negative energy. When you have a body that's fueled with that energy, it comes from trauma and your lack of being able to heal yourself. It's where the root of toxic relationships, they're from our past and things that we've been through, and it's shaped who you are. But it's feeding that trauma and that negative energy. That's the problem. So I took what that guy said, and I turned and I let it all go by writing this book called Two Fires. And it's literally about positive negative energy, like I said. So that fire that he's feeding, the fear hate fire, it has to be constantly fed. And you think about it this way: if you're going up to somebody that you don't like, or you're being a Facebook keyboard warrior and you're typing something out super petty and sassy, all of a sudden you get this like hot, intense feeling inside of you. Or you're like going back at a significant other, anyone, like any kind of fight type of thing or something that's petty, you can feel that like negative energy fire monster inside of you, and you're like, oh yeah, like it gets you, like it literally sends that rush of like yes through your body. But then afterward, when you calm down, you don't feel so good. Because the thing about fear, hate, fire, the thing about negative energy is it is so easy to feed. It requires no work on yourself. It is so simple to be nasty to other people and to feed yourself processed junk food and to let yourself just veg and never work on your spirit or your body. That's easy. That's the easy way out. And by doing that, you're constantly feeding that negative fear energy. But the thing is like, it has to be constantly fed. So what I mean by that is positive energy, for example, that positive fire, in order to have this fire, you have to heal and accept that, okay, maybe it's okay if somebody else is different than me. Maybe it's okay if I accept other people for who they are. Oh, I went through this trauma. I'm going to do some yoga and meditative breath work, and I'm going to let it go. And now you're healing yourself more and more and more. And now you have a fire that starts underground and it burns steady. Whereas the fear hate fire, it's like throwing brush and pine cones and dry leaves into it. You can feed it so fast, so easy by something that's simply laying around on the ground. Just throw it in there. Just say a mean thing to somebody. Just just really treat yourself like crap. Just, it's so easy to feed. But the satisfaction that you get, that instant gratification, that instant fire hot burst, it's gone quickly too. Just like brush and pine needles and stuff. If you throw it in there, it burns hot, it burns fast, but it burns out quick. And so it has to be constantly fed. So when that guy called me and needed to, he is so full of his own fear that he had to call some girl he doesn't know to feed his own fear energy. And he's so full of fear that he couldn't even let me get a word in. That's the issue, is that that's what's happening in today's world. Our society is thriving on putting each other up against each other. Oh, this person's eating this for lunch. Oh, this person is in this place. Oh, it's one thing to keep up with your friends and see what they're doing in life. It's another when you start comparing yourself and feeding the hate energy inside of you that's leading to depression, that's leading to anxiety, that's leading to feelings of not being good enough. Because that's what negative energy is. It's the ego inside your brain saying, you'll never amount to anything. We can't do that. We're afraid of that. No, 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 you need to stay there. No, don't heal from that. You shouldn't heal. That's going to be scary. Take a step back. That's this negative energy fire talking. It wants you to feed it. Negative energy needs your attention. It is thriving on you not taking care of yourself, on you not wanting to heal. What's scary, and we'll get into this in a second, is how that's affecting the earth. So you have this form of positive energy, right? This other fire, it's the chakra fire. See chakras? Woo! Chakra fire, the rainbow fire inside of you from your root up to your crown. That's this dimensional chakras, and it's every single one of them is working on a certain aspect of your body. And it doesn't matter if you're religious and listening to this, you're like, oh, I'm Muslim or I'm Christian, and that's not what we believe. No. Spirituality and religion, two totally, completely, absolutely separate things. Spirituality is working on your spirit inside, this vessel, this body, and how it can help you connect to something greater and grander in whatever form that you believe in it. But spirituality is your individual soul inside, healing the you. It's your spirituality. So that kind of love, this fire, it's magic. It's love. The purest form of positive energy is love. And it takes nothing to be kind to other people. It takes nothing out of you to give someone else a compliment. Actually, because of the way energy works, if you give somebody else that you don't know a compliment, it puts positive energy back into your own body. Fun fact. So start giving out compliments and watch how fast your whole day changes by saying that to other people. So the way I wanted to tie this into a science aspect of things is there's a show on Disney Plus called X-Ray Earth. X-Ray Earth is only 3 episodes right now, and it's a powerful show with some of the most famous scientists from around the world that are focused currently on the United States. So I would just want to talk about episode 1 with you guys and how that kind of relates to the 2 fires and energy and my theory on how this is all connected. So it's actually kind of scary, but it's okay. Like, this is important information to get out there, and you can go watch it on Disney Plus. So X-Ray Earth talks about how our coastlines, so the first episode's about California and like Washington, like so Seattle, all California, we're sitting on tectonic plates, which if you've ever taken science, you know about. So our plates right now across that whole border, on the West Coast, are pressed together. And because of awesome science nowadays, these scientists are able to have x-rays of what it looks like underneath the surface, which is amazing, but also can be concerning when this stuff is brought up. So underneath the Earth's surface, you see the edge of them on this tectonic plate, and it's sandwiched together. Well, there's these things called magma plumes, which is basically heat and fire from the Earth's core that is coming up, and it's more buoyant because it's more dense, and it's plummeting against the tectonic plate that California and Washington are on. They don't know when. They literally, if you go watch that, we'll call our Earth right now a geographic time bomb, because they can't even put a date or anything on it. But if that heat rises up anymore, the tectonic plates will split, and like bye-bye California and Washington. It's that serious. Like, and they have no idea when. It could literally happen right now. So back to the positive thing about that. The reason I'm telling you is I believe we can stop it. They say that what they tell you, the scientists, because they're from a scientific point of view, is that it's the when, right? Like, we don't know when, but it's going to happen, and that's basically going to be the demise of that. Because not only that, but when that whole huge earthquake happens, that's going to be the biggest magnitude of earthquake that we've seen in like over 1,000 years, when it wiped out a whole other ton of stuff. The wave that's going to be sent back is going to be a tsunami about 80 feet high. Also, Seattle is built on something called, it basically is like quicksand. Seattle was built on a sedimentary basin. So what that means is that, like, if it were to shake, like the earthquake, because it's going to shake for about 5 minutes is what they estimate, the water will rise out from the ground, and all of Seattle will go into the ground. It's really kind of scary. But we can stop it. And that's like why I feel like I was meant to watch this, because I was drawing for my Two Fires book, and I realized my fires aren't that fire I'm talking about that I feel like is going to take over the earth. One of the things I wrote in my book is earthquakes, tsunamis, our world turned around, which, again, when I write, I feel like it's not just me that's saying it. I feel like it's a message from the earth to get out there, because I didn't know why I wrote earthquakes, tsunamis. I've never experienced either. I didn't know anything about them. And then I was watching this episode, and I was like, oh my goodness. One of the fires, the fire of negative energy, is literally rising up. So I want you to think about this. And I know that you're like, Jenna, what are you talking about? Like, this is literally nuts. Okay, I get it. Like, I'm talking about science and bringing in the spirituality and the earth. The whole point of the Gaia Gazette is to tell you that the earth is alive, right? I want you to think about it this way. So humans, we live and we breathe out carbon dioxide for the trees to absorb, and they produce oxygen. We're literally all part of an ecosystem on a planet that is alive. We are part of her ecosystem, Earth's Gaia's ecosystem, okay? Like, it is time to wake up and realize that, because Earth is not here for us. We are here as part of the evolution of helping Earth and thriving in the ecosystem together as a unit. So by doing stuff like feeding the negative energy out there, and mass producing animals that are all the hormones and the runoff is going into the water, and all of the chemicals that we're using, and it goes so deep, and there is so much to it that I can't even begin to fathom. And I know it's bad just from my point of view, so I can't even imagine a scientist that studies this stuff. Think about it that way. You're a living being. If you feed yourself chemicals and toxins and nastiness and surround yourself with absolute hate and toxicity for even just a couple days, like if you were literally in nonstop arguments and fights and getting in like basically an internal warfare and eating really crappy, nasty, acidic foods and a bunch of chemicals, how's your body gonna feel? Just think about that. Just think about it just from your body's point of view as a living thing. How's your body gonna feel? Terrible. That's how the freak it's going to feel. You're probably going to have heartburn and you're going to want to feel like you want to explode, okay? In more ways than one. So now imagine on a grand scale, we have Earth, a living thing that we are feeding with toxins and negative energy and negativity and just garbage and acting like everything that this Earth has given us, because a lot of the things that we have come from the Earth, whether it be wood and water and oxygen, the things that we literally need to survive are from Earth. But then we're treating Earth like it's nothing. And so imagine how you would feel if you've probably been in a relationship before. I know I have, where I've given it my all and literally done everything I possibly could and have gotten absolutely nothing in return. And at some point, your cup is empty. You are pissed the frick off and you want to explode. Well, that's kind of what Earth is kind of leaning toward right now. These things don't just happen for no reason. And I feel like that's my biggest point. So when I was watching this and all of a sudden I see earthquakes, tsunamis, I'm like, wait, whoa, that's what I just wrote. Again, in a time where it just is this overwhelming feeling where it doesn't feel like it's me that's writing. It's this, the Gaia Gazette is a format for Earth to get its messages across. Because at the end of the day, if we have 1,000 earthquakes and tsunamis and the negative fire that humans are feeding, fighting for land that they don't own, and wars and other things for literally no reason, if you really think about it, because to own more land but no one actually owns it, you live and die. Like there's no reason. There's literally no reason. So if we just keep treating Earth like absolute shit and Earth's plumes, you're feeding that core, you're feeding that fire of hate and negativity, Earth is going to, the magma plumes are going to come up, things are going to start going haywire, and humanity will eventually be wiped out. But then, of course, with no humans, I mean, there's no negative energy anymore. Ecosystem goes back to life, Earth heals itself, everything's good, we're just gone. So I know that seems like dark and depressing, but it's not. Because like this is a message that we can change it. We can heal her. We can help. It is literally up to us. It is up to those of us who are woke, as the politicians like to say, or moms of white supremacy, I mean liberty, like to say. It is up to us to realize that maybe we choose to have meatless Mondays and do one day less a week. Maybe we start having ads out there on commercialized TV about kindness and get rid of the freaking fracking pharmaceutical industry, which is the majority of it is like, if you literally just watch them feed pills and medications that have side effects that need other pills and medications owned by the same corporations. Like, we can be healed using the earth. We are beings grown of this earth to support the ecosystem of this earth. The soul inside is of whatever religion you want to believe. It is totally acceptable and okay, because that is where your soul is from. That's beautiful, that's powerful. If you believe that and that is what resonates with you, then that's true. Then it's true to you. But our bodies, the physical body, is of the earth. That's what I'm trying to get across here. It's the soul inside that can help you as a human being see all this. We're powerful. Our connection to earth is powerful. Go lay with tree if you don't believe me, and I know that, again, I sound crazy, but go do it. Not just once and be like, yeah, this is stupid, because life is all about intention, okay? It's all intention. Anything all of you people who watch Witch Talk and all the things and do little spells and stuff like that, that's super cool. It's intention. It's all intention. Your words are intention. Your words are actually one of your biggest spells. Your actions are intention. Like, your habits are formed from you putting enough intention forth that it becomes something that you want to do, and then it becomes a habit. And guys, help each other. If you're a true friend to other people and you see that they're like addicted to nicotine, for example, have a conversation with them about how bad it is. I was addicted to it for a long time, and I will totally admit that. No problem, especially when I was in the military. But it's so bad for your body. You're literally, the high is like in its anxiety rush until the next time you get to hit it. That's what you're thriving on. It's like the most addictive chemical. It's so bad. There's literally no benefits. All types of things. Alcohol, same thing. And of course, don't get me wrong, I love my freaking wine, okay? So I'm not saying don't do the things. I'm saying be aware of the way that your body feels after you do them, because again, that's a form of energy and it's your intention. And if I'm going to have my wine, I need to make sure that I'm not drinking it every single day. And then if I'm going to eat a Big Mac from McDonald's, I need to make sure that's not an everyday thing. It's all about balance and awareness of what you're doing and why you're doing it. Am I eating this Big Mac because I'm hungry, or am I eating this Big Mac because I'm bored? Because there's a difference there. There's intention in what you're doing. It's all energy, guys. It's all connected, and it's just such a powerful lesson. And I really want everyone to be able to take in that lesson, because one of my biggest signature on like everything, and I've always said it, is give a compliment, get a smile. Because if you're walking down the road, or I always find somebody to compliment at like the grocery store, and then when I'm checking out, always compliment the cashiers, because when you give that one compliment, it might mean nothing to someone. Sometimes they don't hear you, and it's like, okay, don't stop doing it, because you might just compliment that t-shirt or that necklace on that one person whose world feels like it's falling apart. And that necklace or that shirt was from their grandma or their mom, or somebody, and that meant something to them. And that one statement can change the entire energetic course of their day, week, month. They might remember you for the rest of their life because you said a kind statement to them, because it changed them energetically so much and helped put them back on a positive path. Like, we are all supposed to be working together. And you won't see any of the stuff in the news, like the scary ass stuff I was just talking about with the tectonic plates and the magma plumes. Of course you won't see them on the news, but you can seriously go watch it on Disney Plus. It's on there, X-Ray Earth, and you'll see everything I was talking about would be broken down to you point blank period by smartest scientists. Okay, anyway, you won't see that because that doesn't feed money. That doesn't give money to the people in power. That doesn't cause separation amongst the masses. Separation amongst the masses and comparisons to each other, and feeding anxiety and depression that feed the pharmaceutical industry, and then feed the fast food companies, which in turn feed the pharmaceutical industries, because your body is so shittily taken care of. Like, knowledge of the earth and helping each other, it makes no money. But there comes a point where we have to realize that money doesn't freaking matter. It doesn't. Love matters. Real, positive, pure energy. There are sciences and studies out there about people who have gone completely unmedicated and healed their bodies through meditation and connecting with the earth and its elements. It's the medicine that's been practiced long before English was even invented, okay? It's time to remember our roots. It's time to come back to Gaia. This message is going to be said over and over on this podcast because this episode is literally what this podcast, what my book, what the company, the Gaia Gazette I started, stand for. It's a voice for the voiceless, for the trees and the ocean and the animals that we have forgotten that we are connected to. You can think I'm some crazy loon, but if you're going to think that, totally okay, because I am a little freaking nuts. If you're going to think that, I encourage you. How do you feel when you go sit in the sun? How do you feel? Just notice the difference between how you feel right now and after you take a shower, interacting with the element of water. How do you feel now and after you go into the ocean? How do you feel now and after you go breathe with a tree a couple times? How do you feel after you learn some meditation and some yoga and you actually release the traumas which are held in your muscles, which is why your muscles get tight? How do you feel? Because you can say I'm crazy and you can say this is all made up and it's nuts, which people have. Like on my last little podcast thing, I had somebody say, well, showing a movie wasn't a thing, but if you were talking about this Gaia craziness to our students, my students, they recognize energy. My students did. Anyway, that's a different story. But you can say I'm crazy, but it's not fair to actually think I'm crazy until you for yourself go and try out just being with the earth, camping, breathing in fresh air, feeling your body connect and ground. And if you still feel absolutely nothing and you're like, no way, this is BS, I don't feel any different when I go in the ocean or breathe the trees or heal my traumas, I'm the same person, that's fine. I don't think that you've tried hard enough, but that's fine. Anyway, it all just comes back to earth and energy and us and all the things that we can do for ourselves and for each other. Like, don't you want to be able to go and walk down the aisles of a grocery store and have a conversation with somebody you walk by, or sit in a doctor's office and instead of all of you playing on your phones, you're talking? Shouldn't that be what the waiting room is like? Full of light and love and laughter and conversation. When I was at the doctor's office the other day, the women they all stopped and they started telling each other jokes. And we were telling each other knock-knock jokes in the doctor's office. It was like relief, because that doesn't happen anymore. And why? Why doesn't it? Because for some people, that's all the interaction they're going to get, especially those 80-something-year-old women who are in there who are going to go right back to their homes and don't have their grandkids visit them every once in a while, but that's it. Guys, we're a race that is supposed to be accepting and communicative with each other. We're not supposed to be alone. But we're also supposed to be able to accept everyone for who they are, as long as they're being good and they're doing right and they're being kind, who they identify as or any of that stuff. It doesn't matter. You're missing the bigger picture if you think gay, straight, whatever you identify as, who you are, if you think that that matters, you are wrong. I don't care what your religion said, because times have changed, evolution has happened, things are in the past. I don't care. When it comes to just accepting and loving everyone, just let it be. It's not you. It's not how you're living your life. That you can apply to your religion if you want. But there's plenty of people from religions who over time who are gay and have been like, this is just who I am, because it's just natural, guys. Like, stop comparing yourselves. And I know it's almost impossible because I still do it. I preach it and I still do it. Stop comparing yourselves. Stop being nasty. Stop finding a reason to not like the person or to avoid talking to the person walking down, and find a reason to stop and give them a compliment so they can carry on their day, and then maybe they pass it on to somebody else. We have the power to change this world. And it's, again, not the earth that needs saving. It's humanity. And we, if you are listening, are a part of humanity. To say that we have to work together. And you don't say, I'm just one person, I can't make a difference, because you can. Because that one person you touch, that's how positive energy and light work. Say I'm a walking ball of sunshine and I go and I just touch one person. Well, that one person absorbs that positive light, and then they touch another person, and then that person touches another person, and then it spreads like wildfire, kindness and love and positive energy, and that is what we need. So as one person, you can make a difference. As one person, you can choose to heal yourself. You can choose to connect, because once you heal and you connect, then you can go express these messages, and you can spread the fact that I'm not crazy, and that this stuff is real, and that we can heal by dealing with the earth and by treating her kindly. Every single person that does that, every single step, and along the way, we will make a difference together, because you are not alone. You are not just one person. We are all connected. As a collective, the earth is connected to us, and we are all one. We are all one. So you're not just one person. You're one soul inside one vessel, starting your own web of connectiveness and healing for humanity and this earth. So don't ever think that you're just one person, because you are so much more than that. So I know I got intense a couple times. Let's rein it on back in. I'm just happy to have this outlet again, to be here with you guys, to express these things. Pick your trash up, recycle, take care of the earth, be kind to others, give a compliment, get a smile. One kind statement can go a mile. You never know what anyone else is going through, so don't ever judge. It's not your job to do. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's a blessing, and every episode is going to mean so much to me, and you even joining means so much to me. So thank you so much, and I will see you guys next time.
That was fantastic.
Oh,
really
thank you.
Actually, let me just turn my echo off because that's annoying.
I totally forgot to say the thing about following the Gaia Gazette.
Well, that's why I came in behind you, because just from my producer brain, I know where to stick
Yeah.
plugs in for you, so people know where to find stuff. All right, let's do a promo, and then you're good to go.
Okay.
But that was actually a very fascinating conversation. Actually, listening to it and kind of just understanding the different aspects of. I thought the food part of the conversation was interesting when you were talking about the like the McDonald's and knowing whether you're eating, because I can relate to that a little bit. Sometimes you eat things, and sometimes you don't think whether you're actually eating them because you want. Or
I can relate to that almost every day of my life, because if I didn't, I would be really fit.
trust me, I know that feeling too. All right, let me. Oh, I had that right the first time. Okay, so like I said, like last time, think a minute to a minute and a half ish.
Give me 1 second to
Yeah, take a minute. I'll put this up here just so you have that.
Okay, I think I'm ready.
Okay, I'll jump in.
Can I start whenever? Sorry, can I start right away when I go up there?
Yeah, whenever you're ready, you can.
Okay. Oh wait, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead. Any question is fine.
Aren't I supposed to add in there? So check this episode out tomorrow at 3 on the Empty the Bench podcast network, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. Hey, no questions are bad questions. So
Okay.
that's
There are two fires on this earth, two different types of energy. The collective consciousness is not what we think, and the way that we're treating things could physically alter our earth in a way that is devastating to humanity. Tune in tomorrow, Wednesday at 3 p.m., to the Gaia Gazette podcast on the Empty the Bench podcast network to hear more.